means access that particular value from an array, and how to change the value, means whatever the value of an array if you wanted to change it, and how we can iterate towards the array, print that particular values with the normal for loop and with the for each. So these are the things which we have been discussed yesterday and today. Now what it will be continued is we need to implement with a two-dimensional array. What's your question for that?
So in the program that Mahesh has written, he did not give separate, the colons for the string name. So he has just one element in his array, not three.
That is the reason it has been printed into a single statement.
Yeah, that's right.
See, it depends upon it. So now what is, when he has been pulled out for array of 1, array of the index, when he have been pulled, so now he'll be getting only the complete statement.
Yeah, correct.
So it's a good catch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Any other point, any other questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay, then who means did you gone through this two-dimensional array?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone or only few?
Yes, sir.
And how about methods?
Yes,
so hope yesterday it was communicated that you need to go through the methods and then two-dimensional array. Okay, who did the two-dimensional array? Can raise their hands? Okay, Bhavna, share the screen.
Can I stop, sir?
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
1 second, sir. I'm sharing, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you explain me what is this two-dimensional array and how it has been how this will be work for us?
In this multi-dimensional arrays, we used to give 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 1, 2, 3, 4 are considered as 0 index, and 5, 6, 7 is considered as a 1 index. Here we giving the int as my number. So 1 second, sir. ఇక్కడ 1, 2 అని ఇచ్చాం కదా సార్. యాక్చువల్గా ఈ 1, 2 అన్నది ఈ లూప్ లోని ఇందులోని సెకండ్ నెంబర్ అన్నది ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది సార్. 5 అనేది 0 అని తీసుకుంటాం, 6 అనేది 1 అని తీసుకుంటాం, 7 అనేది 2 అని తీసుకుంటాం. సో మనం ఇక్కడ సిస్టమ్ అవుట్ ప్రింట్ లోని 1, 2 అని ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మనకి 7 అనేది అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుంది సార్.
Okay. Monica, and can you explain this code?
Okay, sir.
Show the code.
Can you show me the
Bhavna. Bhavna,
So I can share my screen, sir?
Okay, share it.
Okay, sir. Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yes. Mentioned loading. Yeah. Now I'm able to see it.
So it's using
Go ahead.
multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional, so is syntax is we have to mention two square braces and we have to initialize the variable and we have to assign the values to that variable. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 is treated as one array and 5, 6, 7 is treated as another array. So the length will be 2, sir, here. Length of the my number is 2. And if you want to change that one and one means in a second array is first array means 0 and second array means 1. The index is first is 0, second is 1. I want to change that value 1 and 1 here 5, 6 uh, 5, 6, 7 means here I want to change that 5 is means 0, 6 is 1, 7 is 2. So I want to change that 6 value. So 5, 8, 7 it will be printed, sir, like. So here the change value in the list it will be printed like that.
Okay. Good. So Durga, you want to try this? Can you share your screen and explain it?
Can I stop my
Please.
screen, sir?
Yes, yes. Yeah, Monica, you can stop this.
So, did you mention my name?
Yes, Durga.
Oh, so Maya.
So, did you ask me to share the screen?
No. I asked Durga to share the screen and explain.
So, this is Durga here.
Yeah, Durga, share the screen and explain.
Okay, sir.
You raise your hand, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm just trying. My Eclipse is not coming up, sir. I'm just trying.
Okay. Sumya, go ahead.
So can you see my screen?
Okay. Yes.
So this is the multi-dimensional array.
No,
So
this is
here,
not a good example. No. Don't give this one. This will confuse the people. That's not a
okay,
good
sir.
example. Sumya,
So I have.
you have any
Yes,
other?
sir.
I'm just checking, sir. So this is the one. I think this I have, sir. I can uncomment it.
Go ahead.
So in this array, we are forming rows and columns.
This is also not a good example. You need to explain the top one.
Okay, sir.
See.
Okay.
Stop sharing the account. Share, so Sumya, you can share.
Yes, sir. Are you able to see this?
The font is very small. I think you need to increase and only show me the editor.
How do I change it?
Just you need to maximize that particular editor window and then Control plus button. It will increase the font. Okay, stop share. Deepanjana, share the screen.
Is it coming, sir?
Yep. So maximize. You can. You need to click that maximize button. Editor on the editor. The blue color there, right? Minus and then plus that window. So that click on that particular window so that it will show only the code rather than other windows. Yes.
Can I share my screen, sir?
Just a second.
Okay.
Now, sir?
Yes. Can you explain this now?
Yeah. So in two-dimensional array, the first dimension here gives the length of the rows, and the second dimension gives the length of the columns. So here we have a two-dimensional array named numbers. So first we are printing the numbers dot length. So the numbers dot length is nothing but 2. So it's it's number of rows.
What it will print me when I execute this
It will
line
print
number
2,
10?
sir. It will print 2.
I mean, everyone, will it print me 2 or 3 or 0, no, 1?
2.
Any other
2, sir.
answers?
2, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So it then now it goes to the for loop. So in the for loop, I is equal to 0, I less than numbers dot length. That is I less than 2, I plus plus. Then it enter the second for loop where j is 0, j less than numbers of I dot length. Here
Okay.
this
What that first for loop will run and what second for loop will run?
so the first for loop it will so while printing this in the print ln statement, numbers of I and j will be in first one, that will be 0, and j will also be 0. It will print the first element in the array.
Okay. Now, if you go for the first iteration, what are the values
Yeah.
it will print?
In the first iteration, it will print 1.
Okay. Anyone can quickly let me know for the first type these two for loops. If you really understand the nested for loops, I think easily
So
you can
first
explain this.
So
So
the first
first it will print
iteration
1,
1, 2,
2,
Okay,
3,
3,
okay.
4.
4.
Rise. Okay, please. One by one. I don't want the group
So
answers.
first iteration will print the index, and second iteration will print the elements.
First iteration will print the index. What do you mean by first iteration? You know, you have to be
First for
cautious.
loop. First for loop.
So iterations would be there in the for loops. Now you need to say
Yes,
that
yes. Okay.
external for loop, internal for loop, or first for loop, second for loop. You shouldn't use a first and second. The right term to use it, internal and external. External for loop will print me what?
It will print the rows, sir. First row.
Two
1,
numbers
2,
are
3, 4.
In this
1,
external
2,
for
3,
loop,
4.
first
That is the
iteration 1, 2, 3 will.
No. You people are not still understanding what external for loop will print. Means what is the purpose of the external for loop here? See, understand the question
It
thoroughly. Why am I stressing
will
it
set
out?
it, if this external for loops condition satisfied, then it will go to the inner for loop.
That's okay, but what
It
is the
will print
purpose?
only 2,
What
sir.
To check
what
the length of the row.
to check the length of the row? Is it true?
Now, how many arrays are there, sir? The first one. Because here there are 2. So that is the first for loop.
Means if it is a two-dimensional array and if we are considering the rows and the columns are the 2 dimensions, then the outer for loop will check for the row, length of the row, and the inner for loop will check for the length of the column, or each element in or the number of elements in each row.
Okay. Stop sharing screens again.
Yeah.
See, if you understand this two-dimensional array, in many of the places, this will save your life. And it is pretty simple to understand. Just follow this. And once again, I'm saying it. After this, I'll wait and I'll see your implementations. And you should be able to explain me thoroughly. So now the basic problem what you have done is you're able to get that code, but you're not able to explain that particular code. I told you, if you're presenting me the code, I'll not be happy. But if you explain me the code, then only I'll feel happy. Now, I'll explain this. The same thing you need to implement with the different examples and then you should present it. Okay. So point number 1, let me take you this. So all these days, so now we have been implemented with this particular single dimensional array. Now what is the difference between the single dimensional array, two dimensional array means? For example, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is called one dimensional. Now, two-dimensional means 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. Means this is one dimensional array. This is two-dimensional array, right? So this way, this way. Now this is called as rows. This is called as columns. RC. Okay. So now this is called as rows. This is first row. This is second row. And I can have multi-dimensional means I will be having multiple rows. But I don't want it to go for multi-dimensional array. See now, you're talking about single dimension, double dimension, multi-dimension. At least for you now, you learn this too. Don't go for the multi-dimension as of now. So these two at least you should be able to understand. Okay. So now in the single dimension, you'll be having 1, 2, 3, 4. And in double dimension, you have, means as it is a double dimension, you'll be having this trident also you need to do. So you'll be having rows now. So now this is which row? Ruth, what is the index of this row?
First row.
0.
First row. 0, 1.
Index of the row means it is 0. Always you need to remember index starts with 0. So now this is a row, 0th row, and this is the first row. And now what is this column? Index? Column index.
0.
0.
Why you are thinking too much? That's a 0. And what is this column index?
1.
1.
This one?
2.
2.
3.
Okay. So now I got this particular column index as 0, 1, 2, 3 and row 0, 1. Now I have 0, 0. What is the value I'll be getting it? Means always remember
1.
This is
1.
RC. RC. Okay, row, column. Now first row, no, sorry, 0th row, 0th column. Now what is the value I'll be getting it?
1, sir.
1.
Now if I wanted to get this 7, what is a this particular matrix I need to give?
1,
2, sir.
1, 2, sir.
1, 2.
1, 2, sir.
If I wanted to get the 2 value, then
0, 1.
0, 1.
0, 1.
that's it, right? Simple. You tell me, is this complex? Is this complex? Now let me come here. So in the single dimension, now this is where you understand this rows and columns. Now how you need to get the value of this one, you understand. Now what is single dimension? Single dimension means only one, in one way if it is extending. So this is 1D. But if it is extending in this way, then this is called 2D. Means this is two-dimensional array. So this is called as 2D. Okay. Now multi-dimensional array, as of now I don't want to confuse you. You don't get into that. So first, at least if you understand single dimensional array, double dimensional array, that would be really enough. Now, if it is okay, multi-dimensional array or two-dimensional array, what we will try to do is we will be defining this one in this particular pattern. So now previously how we have been defined? We have been defined int. We will be defining it as int, and here I'll be defining with a value. Means for an example, int value. So I'll be keeping this particular values like 1 comma, means I'll be giving it the braces 3 comma 4. So I'm closing this one. So now this is what I have been declared used as a single dimensional array, or this not in this particular pattern, then I have been defined it as int value. This is the way I have been defined this particular thing. Okay. I told you that the syntax differences, but both are same. Now, once this is where we have been use the single dimensional array. Now, two-dimensional array, when we are trying to use it. So now how we will be defining, so by seeing this one, how I can know that's a single dimensional array or two-dimensional array. So by declaration itself, you will be having 2, right? So it means multi or 2, you will be having 2 square braces. So now when we have two square braces, so then this is called as a multi-dimensional array or 2D. So now this is the variable name. Now the same thing can be defined it as int, okay, my num. So this is also way they can define it. Okay. So now either you can follow this syntax or this syntax. Yesterday itself I have been given J. So but usually I follow this syntax. Means for my quicker understanding and doing it, I do it in this way. So your declaration, it's up to you. So both the ways, I'm not saying wrong. So but usually I use this one. Now declaration we have been understood, but the most important thing what you need to understood is, so here understand this. So here I have two rows, right? So row number, see now it starts first with this particular opening flower braces and the closing flower braces. Now I wanted to store two arrays, right? So and all the terms and conditions are same. Means it saves the same homogeneous data types, not different data types. Now here in one particular array, means this is two-dimensional array, right? So now always you remember that arrays will be defined in the flower braces. Now this is first array. So now this is two-dimensional array. So now this is array 1 and array 2. Now if I'm asking the index of this array, the index of this array is
0.
0, and for this one 1. Now this array, this first index array has been started with this particular flower braces and closing these particular braces, and these are the values which it stores. Now second array, open with this braces, closing with this braces, and it have these values. Now this is first array and then this is second array. It is able to store two arrays, so that's the reason it is called as a two-dimensional arrays. So already we discussed two-dimension means this way. We'll if it is in your 9th standard, you'll be discussing about the matrix. So matrix. So this is what the two-dimensional arrays. Okay. So now this is how. So now it will be defined. So now always you need to remember this closing braces and opening braces. If it is not given thoroughly, then it would be considered as a single dimensional array only. So you have to be very cautious, so that we have to keep this array here and array here. So this is how you will be keeping this particular arrays. Now you've taken this array, two arrays which you have been taken into. Now I wanted to get, see now for an example, what this it is printing here. Okay. Okay, fine. So now if I have been changed this particular value 1 of 1, which means now what we are trying to do here, we are manipulating the array. So now the same I told you, right, the terms and conditions are same for the two-dimensional array also. Now what here we are trying to do is we are trying to change the value of this. Now which value would be replaced with the 8?
Sixth value, six
Six
second
to
array,
seven.
second value replaced with
So sixth value will be sixth value would be replaced with the 8. Okay, so now this is a first list or first array, and this is a second array. Now 1 because the 1 means it is going to the second array, and then 1th value means this is 0 and 1. So now for this, instead of 6, it is changing with the 8. So this is how you will be getting it. Now when I have been given this particular num.length, so now okay, till here any questions? Did you understand what is two-dimensional array and how we will be having these particular arrays and how this is storing into this and how we wanted to change it? We have been clearly understood, right? Now what I wanted to see it is, now if I given this my num.length, so previously when I have been given that my num.length, what I'll be getting it? So for an example, now in the my num, okay, I have 1, 2, 3. Now what is my num.length?
3.
3.
My num.length, you will be printing around 3. Now here my num, what it will be trying to print?
2.
It will be trying to print that. It is not trying to print the length of the elements. What is the length of the array? It will be printing that how many arrays are there. It will be printing here. So now here, this is one array and this is second array. So now two arrays. Now if I have this one, comma, 8, 9, 10. So now how many arrays it will be printing now?
3 arrays.
It's
3.
3.
3 arrays.
So now when you given this mynum.length, okay, mynum.length, it will gives you the number of arrays in this particular thing. Now, what is the index of this? First array index?
0.
My num of
0.
0.
Now, my num of 0 dot length. See, now this is non-primitive data type. That's where it have its own methods. Now length I have been given. Now what it will print me?
4.
1.
4.
4. 4. 4.
4.
4.
4, sir.
4. How it can print 1? So here there are 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, right? The length of first array. Please go on mute and you can sing the songs. The second one is my num of 1 dot length.
3.
It will print
3. 3.
so now
3, sir.
okay, my num dot 2 dot length.
3.
3
Here I added 11 and 12 also.
to 4.
5.
5, sir.
5.
5.
It will print 5.
5.
So this is how the inside length of the array will be printed back to us. So now if I wanted to know that how many arrays are there, that will gives me my num dot length. In array, how many list of elements are there? Then I need to give this particular value and then get the length. So till here, understood? Any questions? Any questions here till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, the next simplest thing is, now if you understand this one, now you can easily understand the for loops. So now why it is tough for when in the first phase you're not able to understand. This is the code which you're getting struggling for, right? Now here you come, okay. So now here what you're trying to see, same declaration happen. There are two. There are you have been seeing the two arrays you have been seeing. Now what this will print me?
2,
What is
sir.
the output for this one?
2.
2.
Now
2, sir.
this is external for loop, and then this is for internal for loop. Now you see it, numbers dot, see numbers dot length, it has been given. So how many times it will iterate?
2 times.
2 times.
2
2
times.
2
times.
times, sir.
Any other answer?
Sir, in third iteration it fails.
So always you need to remember, even though it is starting from 0, if I have been given that I less than or equal to 2, then this statement would be failed. But as of now, we don't have equal to. So then this will run only for 2 times. So you have to be very cautious if you're giving the equal to or not, then it makes a difference. Or see, last time we have been seeing it in the Uday code. So he has been given greater than less than or equal to 2, minus 1 he has been given it. So if you are not cautious on this one, it will throw you the array index bound error. Array out of bound index error. That's the most frequent error which we will be getting it. Because you're not giving, so now when you see that error, immediately you need to come and then identify that, hey, this is where the problem I have been given it. Means I'm going beyond the array. So now external loop will run 2 times. Why? External loop will run for 2 times. Why?
Because the value of I, we are ranging it up to the length of the array, and the length of the array is 2.
2 less than 2 condition fails.
No. See, now understand question, Vijay, before answering. understand the question. Why this will I mean, what is the purpose of external for loop? External for loop, first it wanted to check that how many arrays are there. So now what it is, so now what is my intention? I wanted to print the each value of this. Now I have two arrays. So I have two arrays. This is array 1 and array 2. And I need to go for into single array and print this all. I need to come out. Second array, I need to print this all. Right? So this is how this particular arrays will go. Now, first, external for loop. The purpose of the external for loop is to know that how many arrays are there in this particular two-dimensional array. That many times this particular loop will run. External for loop means this is running. Okay, now is this running on rows or is this running on the columns?
Rows.
On the rows.
See, I'll give you a quick assessment for tomorrow. Now what I wanted to see it is, there is a table. Okay, in this particular table I have multiple rows. Now I have multiple columns. So in this particular columns I have Java, and in this particular column, in this particular cell I have Swechha. Now I iterate on this and check if this cell is empty or good, and if the cell is having Swechha, then print that particular value and exit the loop. So did you got it? So now what I need to do is, I'll be having, okay, rather than even in the table also you can do this in the two-dimensional array. Okay, in this particular two-dimensional array, you can take a string array. Now you will be having certain values here and you will be having certain values here. So you need to find the value Swechha. Okay, and if this value matches, if this particular value matches, you need to exit the loop, printing that found the value so that you can exit it. Okay, so this is the exercise which you need to show it to me tomorrow. However, I'll continue with this and then I'll continue with the methods which we have been discussed about it. Okay, let me come back to here. Let me complete this one and then I'll leave for the day. So if you see here, now the external for loop will run on number of arrays we have. So means which is on rows. Always remember that external for loops will be running on the rows. Internal for loop will be running on the
columns.
Columns.
So now you see it. X means how many rows I have? 2 rows I have. So I've shown you, right? On the top you can see it. On the top you have been seeing it, right? So number of rows. So this is the first row and this is the second row. First row and second row. The same way. Now this you can see it on the external loop was running on this. External loop was running on this particular thing, and the internal loop, when it comes to the internal loop, now here what we are trying to do, first it was taking with I. Now what is the ith value? 0. Now which row would be taken, or which array would be taken? First array would be taken.
First row.
So now in the first array it will get the length. How many times this particular loop will run?
4
times.
4 times it will be running for it. So now what it was trying to do, now what is the ith value here?
0.
Now what is the means jth value would be iterating for 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now 4 times it will be getting started with it. First initially it was go with a 0, 1, 2, 3. Now 4, whether it pass or fail?
Fail.
It will fail because the 4, even though it increase, so that condition will fail and it will come out. Now 0, 0, what is the value it will print?
1, sir.
0, 1?
2.
2.
0, 3?
3, sir.
3.
3.
Was 0, 0, what it will print?
1, sir.
1.
0, 1?
2.
2.
2.
0, 2?
3.
3.
0, 4? 0, 3?
0,
0,
3,
3,
it will
4.
print 4.
0, 3, 4.
0, 4?
Array out of bound. Means it will out of
Excellent.
If they
Excellent. This will print the array out of bound index. If you have been given it will print you the error. So now here, this is what it will print. Now this, it is completed. Now once again it go back to external loop. In the external loop, now what is the ith value?
1, sir.
Now 1. So now once again it will come to the internal loop. Now what is the jth value here? Now
0.
here 0.
0.
0 again.
Now what it will print?
105, sir, value.
5, sir.
So now
5.
the next iteration 1
You
0
write
6.
6.
1 1.
1 0
1,
1,
105 116.
and now
Next
1
2.
3.
1
1,
2
1 2 7
7.
1 3 8.
1, 3, 8.
1 3 8.
1 4.
Array out of bound.
array out of bound.
So this is how this internal and external loop will be running for a 2-dimensional array. See, I struggled a lot to understand this particular internal and external looping with this particular single-dimensional array. But once you have been understand multiple, see now wherever you have the test data, means the test data means the data which you use for testing. So that particular test data will be bringing it up, and that particular test data, handling that data, if you know this particular 2-dimensional array, it will be pretty simple for you to handle it. And many of your real-time things, if you know all these things, use a single-dimensional array, double-dimensional array. So you should see now where the people go wrong is where to use what. The people will not understand that. But if once you have been known that to store these particular double dimensions, if you're working with the API automation or API testing, this will really help a lot, because you have to store a lot of data and you need to compare the lot of data. So now, for example, there are 2 arrays, getting that particular 2 arrays and then do the comparison. So how you will do that? So now you'll be having one single dimensional array, another 2-dimensional array, another 2-dimensional array, get the value, compare it. Iterating, comparing, iterating, comparing, iterating in 2-dimensional arrays means you will be getting for loops. It will be, you can handle it with minimum for loops also, but to avoid that particular things, we can do it in the in 3 for loops also. We can try to implement that, but that's a little bit complex, but definitely you can enjoy. So you will do a lot of mistakes and it will not run, but when you debug and run, debug, run, so then you definitely can be achieved. Okay, so however, see, I'm telling you, right, Java is very simple to learn unless you practice. And if you're practicing it, and you will feel, hey, why I have been missed all these days without learning this? It is pretty simple only, right? Now you tell me, is it really complex? Whatever the operators, if conditions, for loops, and arrays which you have learned, is it really complex?
No, sir.
And actually, if you means by this, you can do 60 to 70% of logics, any logics you can write now. If you have been thoroughly practiced this one, whatever you have been, we discussed for this particular last 18 days or 17 days. If you have been thoroughly practiced, you tell me within 17 days, you are able to write any logic, 50 to 60% of logics you can write it in Java. And you just, if you learn this particular OOPS concepts, that's it. See, for testing, why we need to learn Java? So testing is separate in Java. So this is the basic. If you learn this one, learning any tool, matter of 2 days, 3 days. So this is really very important. This is the core crux. So that is where you need to learn. So which one you need to learn first? And practice it. I'm telling you, right? Practice makes you perfect. If you're not practicing it, so just after the session, once again tomorrow class, you will see it. And coming join for tomorrow's class without doing any practice, it's damn waste. It's waste of your time. Anyways, you're spending all these things and bearing me for all these days. Practice it. Another 1 month only, right? Then you will never see my face at all. And I'll bet if you're practicing and doing it, definitely within short span of time, you can fly away. Okay, anyhow, I don't want to once again waste your time on this stuff. Yeah, that's it for today, and have a great day. And tomorrow I wanted to see this particular